Hey everybody, it's Rob here at etrailer.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Swagman Chinook 2-bike platform style rack on our 2020 Toyota Highlander. Now our Chinook is going to allow us to take 2 bikes with us to and from the trail. Now the nice thing about it is that it is a platform rack, which has a lot of the nice features that people tend to not really think about until we need them. Let's say we get to the trail, or maybe we're leaving. Either way, we need to get into our back hatch. Well, most of us don't really want to unload all of our bikes, potentially start messing with the rack too much, removing it just to get in the back. And I know I don't want to crawl from the front seat all the way to the back either. Well, without having to remove our bikes, we can actually tilt the bike rack away so we can get plenty of access. At the back of the mast here, there's a lever. If we lift up on that lever, we can let the bike rack tilt down. And then we should have enough room on either side of the receiver tube. We can open up the hatch and we can get whatever we need to or put anything we need in the hatch. We can close it up. Then we can just lift it up and we can hear that audible click and the bike's going to lock back into position. Now our bike is going to be held onto the rack by 3 points of contact. We're going to have a wheel hoop with a strap on each one, but then right here in the middle where the center mast is, we are going to have a frame hook. Now the hook is padded, so we're not going to have to worry about any scratches or abrasions. It's a nice soft rubber type material. However, if you have a really nice paint job or potentially a carbon frame bike, I would recommend getting a bike rack or checking a different style of bike rack that has no frame contact. But let's go ahead and take our bike off so we can take a little bit of a closer look at it. Down here at the bottom, we're just going to have these tabs. Push in on the tab. We can pull the strap out and then I'll loosen it up. Now at this point I recommend getting a good grip on your bike. You can press in on that tab, lift up the hook. Sometimes you may need to move both of them so you get a little bit more room. We can lift our bike up and we can set it aside, take a closer look. And here on the wheel cradle, you can see they are kind of curved, which that's going to help accommodate different wheelbase bikes. Not to mention, if we loosen this lever up, we can actually slide the cradle in and out on this arm so we can really adjust where exactly our bikes are going to sit, and we can stagger them, hopefully preventing that bike-to-bike contact, because a lot of times once we get them in place, the handlebars start interfering, or the pedals, or even the seat sometimes. And the cradle itself is going to be able to hold up to a 3-inch wide tire. That strip in the center is really good for those road bikes. Hold that tire right nice and neatly in the middle, but like on our mountain bike, you saw it spread out a little bit, had really good contact in there to hold it in place. Now if you happen to have a fat bike, they do make a fat bike adapter kit with new cradles that'll hold up to a 5-inch tire, so keep that in mind if you do have a fat bike tire. And the straps here, just ratcheting straps so we can get a couple clicks on them. Tighten your bike down. It even has a little pad to make sure that the wheel's not going to get damaged, and that's a nice soft rubber-like material as well. Now all those things are really nice. So whenever we do want to take our bikes with us to the park, maybe hit the trail, we can make sure that our bikes are going to be secure. But as you can see, we're adding quite a bit of space to the back of our Highlander, so I would like to give you a few measurements. If I measure from the very back of the bumper to the very outer edge of our rack, right at the back of one of these cradles, it's going to come in right about 28.5 inches. Now at the closest point of our rack, it's probably going to be right at that back of that lever. Now as you can see, we do have quite a bit of space. It's about 11 inches, so we shouldn't ever have to worry about any kind of contact from the rack itself. Now another important measurement is going to be your ground clearance. The very back of the rack typically is where we're going to have to worry, but as you can see, it does come up into a raised shank, so we have pretty good ground clearance here. And at the very bottom here, it's going to be just under 21 inches. Now if you're like a lot of people, you want to leave your bike rack in here because you don't know exactly when you're going to go riding, but you really don't want to have to mess with putting in the hitch, taking it out. Well, we can leave our bike rack in place, but at the same time save a lot of space. At the bottom of the mast here, on the side of our center post, If we lift that lever up, we can actually rotate that center post down nice and out of the way. And now we have the option to come to the back of the mast, pull up on that same lever we used to tilt it down. We can actually tilt our bike rack up so it would be nice and close to the car. And now the furthest point of our rack, even back here, is only coming in about 15 inches. So we did save quite a bit of space. Now our Chinook is going to work with 2-inch hitches as well as 1.25-inch hitches. You can see that we have that sleeve over the shank here, and that's what's going to make it usable for a 2-inch hitch. And I really like that fact because I have a few different vehicles in my family that I like to take my bikes with. Some of them have a 2-inch hitch and some of them have 1.25 inch. So with this bike rack, you really don't have to worry about that. The other nice thing is they do include a locking anti-rattle bolt. So if I were to grab the shank here, start shaking, you can see there's not any play in the receiver tube, and then the whole car is actually shaking. So we don't have to worry about that annoying rattling sound coming from the receiver tube while we're driving down the road. And the hitch lock is actually going to be the same lock core that's on our frame hooks here. So not only is the rack going to be secure to the Highlander, but our bikes are going to be secure to the rack. They're all key alike, so we don't have to worry about carrying around a whole bunch of different keys with us. But overall, I really like the Swagman Chinook. I think it has a lot of the features that a more premium rack typically has, like the locks on the frame hooks, the locks on the receiver tube. Make sure your bike's nice and secure. And I feel like it's a really sturdy rack that is going to last a long time, but we're not having to pay for the major premium options that some of those other racks have.
Here it is on our test course. We'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Next, we're at the alternating speed bumps, which we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement. And finally, we have the full speed bumps, where we'll see the up and down action, which is just like driving out of a parking lot, garage, or driveway.
So if you're looking for a bike rack for your Highlander to get up to 2 bikes to and from the trail, I think the Chinook is a great option. But again, I'm Rob here at etrailer.com, and that'll finish up your look at the Swagman Chinook 2-bike platform style rack on our 2020 Toyota Highlander.